Good afternoon, Mr. Alnabli.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jasmine Alnabli, and I will be leading you through our nutrition and education and counseling meeting today.
Okay.
Just a little bit about myself. I am a nutrition and dietetics student at Loma Linda University, and will be sitting for my RD exam next June.
Fantastic.
So I just want to let you know I got into this field because I just really wanted to enhance and improve people's health through making advantageous dietary choices. So
that's great.
Before we get started, would you like a bottle of water?
I would love to have a bottle of water.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Can I start drinking now?
Yes, go for it.
All right.
So in today's session, I would just like to hear about some of your personal goals, why you came to the session today, obstacles you may be facing in regards to nutrition, and just figure out some ways to overcome challenges that you may be facing.
Okay. Well, number one, I'm really happy to have this opportunity to sit down with you and discuss my really horrible eating habits, especially by, recently. I have been actually struggling with wanting to lose the weight. I would say for about a good 6-7 months now. And all that I have seen so far is that I've been basically fluctuating between 199 and 206, sometimes even 208. The struggle today has been the frustration level of when I get on this, okay, I'm going to get on this quote-unquote diet and I'm going to lose the weight, something amazing happens. I actually end up eating more. I'm tired in the morning. I'm stressed because we started this whole new business that we have here. And I'm totally out of control. I feel that I'm totally out of control when it comes to eating. I think a lot of it has to do with not eating quote-unquote properly or systematically.
Okay, so
I'm a big bad problem for you, I think.
You just threw a lot at me, so I would like to go back and recap some of the things that you were saying to make sure that I'm understanding everything clearly.
Okay.
So in January of 2010, you started a meal plan that was very strict. And you were able to maintain it for a few years.
No, a few months.
Yes. Excuse me. Few months. And then you started to travel and, kind of things kind of went a little bit astray from there.
Yes.
You went from this strict dieting, all or nothing kind of plan to not really knowing how to make food for yourself or compose a meal for yourself because you were...
But it was, it's interesting you say that because that meal plan that I was on, that diet plan, was called the no decision plan.
That is funny. Yeah, so
it's a no decision diet, which means you don't have to make any decisions about anything. This is the prescription, and you live with that prescription, you'll be all right. And it worked. I cannot deny that it didn't work. It did work.
So you almost kind of missed out on the education portion of how to eat when you're on your own.
Yes.
Which is what in the long term we want to achieve, is for you to be able to make healthy food choices when someone isn't there to tell you what to do. To be able to critically think for yourself in regards to nutrition.
Yeah.
So some other things that you mentioned was that you're just feeling frustrated and kind of out of control in regards to your weight loss initiatives, which it seems very frustrating if you want to be losing weight and you're not seeing it, and then you said that you were tend to be eating more. So those are all very frustrating things. And then you also said that during your day, you're not really eating consistently.
At all.
You're kind of all over the place and kind of looking for more of a, consistent meal plan day in which you're not, starving and then overeating later.
I do that.
Kind of like keeping.
It's like I wish I had one person walking behind me, this fairy or whatever, that says, "Okay, mealtime, here it is." It's like preparing it, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that because I lead such a stressful and such a work-driven environment.
So let's talk about where you get most of your meals from.
I would literally stop at the supermarket, or I would stop at a 7-Eleven, or I would stop at a couple of times. I did, not a lot of times. I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts, right? I pick up a donuts, or at the other donut shop. I would pick up because it's fast. So a lot of times I'm eating out, and it's not the best thing in the world.
Okay. So I'm hearing that you get most of your meals from outside of the home.
Yes.
And not typically cooking meals, and kind of go for those more convenience meals that are easy.
Yes.
So how would you feel about going over some tips for when you're dining out then? If you're very busy and like that's the option that you're doing right now, just making some little tweaks, because cooking at home may not be an option for you at this moment.
That's very true, probably, I would say, yes.
So making little changes in regards to the restaurant may
if there is a way of making changes, yes.
Yes, there definitely are some tips that you can implement when you're at the restaurant.
Okay.
So some of the things that I would like to talk about. So when you're ordering food from a restaurant, you want to stay away from words such as like fried or just like also deep fried, and kind of go for those words like broil, bake, and steam.
Okay.
So recently you told me that you went to a restaurant, and I have the menu printed out here, and I will give you a copy of that.
Yes.
And you told me that you ordered the New York strip steak.
Yes.
And you had bread and butter for your meal.
Yes, I did.
So just looking at the options here, we do have a fresh fish option at the top.
Yes.
And it says it's simply grilled with olive oil, or you could get it pan-seared, baked, or blackened with lemon shallot butter.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably say maybe to stay away from the lemon shallot butter choice, and maybe steer towards the simply grilled with olive oil, or the maybe the baked,
not pan-seared.
You could do the pan-seared, but the other ones are a better option.
Okay.
So that's they have.
So I would have enjoyed the tilapia, for example.
Okay, so
that's what I like to eat actually,
so
or Chilean sea bass. I would have enjoyed that too.
So that's an option that you would be.
I would have enjoyed that.
Willing to change.
Yes.
So going for those terms, and maybe doing like maybe a fish option every once in a while, as opposed to doing a steak.
Yes.
Okay. Some other tips. So when you're ordering, if you want to order a salad, instead of ordering the salad and getting kind of like a Caesar dressing or something like that, they typically kind of put a lot of dressing on salads, so maybe ordering it on the side is a better option, because then you can be in control of how much you would like to add onto the salad.
Okay.
And typically going for maybe like a balsamic dressing is good, or you could do a balsamic and olive oil dressing. Typically, most restaurants will have that option.
Yes, and I like balsamic vinaigrette.
So, also, in regards to restaurants, portion sizes are typically very large. And you had mentioned earlier that, sometimes you just like don't know when to stop eating, or you think you're hungrier than you are, and you just eat a lot at once.
Yes.
When you give that example with the bread.
Yes.
So, a good tip is to kind of ask for a to-go box in the beginning. When you get to the restaurant, after your meal comes, and just put half of the food in the box. And don't open the box. Take it home.
Yeah.
It's kind of bang for your buck too, right? Because then you can eat another meal later.
Yes.
And you could, if you do choose a healthy option, you can take it to work the next day. And you'll have a lunch option for you here.
Sure.
At the office.
Yes.
Also, when it comes to salads, you really don't. So here they have the chopped spinach salad, for example. There's bacon, egg, radishes, mushrooms, and warm bacon dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Just because a menu item has all these things included does not mean that you have to get it with all those things in it.
Okay.
So you can easily tell them, oh, can I have the chopped chicken or chopped spinach salad without the bacon?
Right. I don't like bacon.
So, well, then that is something that you could ask for that salad because, I mean, spinach is great, mushrooms are great, radishes are great, egg is great. You can always take out egg whites, or I mean the egg yolk if you don't want the egg yolk or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of restaurants, I think, nowadays are accommodating because they want to have your business.
Yes.
So they're going to try their best to make the customer happy.
Yes.
So for me personally, I often ask for changes in my orders. Unless they specifically specify, please do not make changes to the order, or we can't make a change to this order.
Mm-hmm.
I typically change majority of my orders. Because the foods that you eat or the foods that are commercially made are not necessarily the healthiest.
Yes.
They're made to appease the palate.
Right.
So they usually have lots of fat and sugar and sodium and those kinds of things added to it to appeal to a wider variety of individuals. I have a little handout here. So we can talk about some portion sizes.
Okay.
So a fist would be considered like a cup of rice or pasta, or fruits or vegetables. So it's about the size of your fist is one serving size.
Now that's cooked rice, I hope.
Yes, cooked rice.
Oh, okay.
Yes, cooked rice. The palm of your hand is about 3 ounces. So that would be for fish, meat, or poultry. So that's about the size. Some people say like a deck of cards is about 4 ounces. So around there. And then if you're going to have nuts or raisins, a handful is about 1 ounce. So like a little handful. So 1 thumb would be 1 ounce of hard cheese or peanut butter. And you said you eat a lot of cheese.
Oh, wow. I love cheese, yeah.
And then for your thumb is a teaspoon of, or a thumb tip is a teaspoon of cooking oil or margarine or butter and sugar.
Teaspoon.
As a teaspoon. Why don't we try and start setting some goals for you in regards to some food?
Okay.
Of what would work.
Let's see. So we're going to put some goals.
Okay.
1.
So what is one goal that you would like to accomplish for, let's say, eating out?
That I want to accomplish for eating out?
Yeah, so
what do you mean?
Would a goal be that you want to choose grilled options?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Would you be willing to do that? Choose grilled options?
It's sometimes, that would be a goal.
So how do you feel about journaling?
It was difficult to do, but it was very exciting. Because it is making me, it helps me actually meet an objective.
Okay, so that seems like something that you can start doing.
I usually get up really early, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Would you have time to journal then?
Yeah, I can make the time for that.
Okay, so how many days a week would you say you could journal?
I can technically journal every day.
Okay, so why don't we give a range of times? So why don't we say 4 to 7 times a week in the mornings for, we can say until our next session. So we can go back and recap how the journaling is going for you.
What am I journaling?
Just
if I'm going to do it in the morning.
Journaling how you're feeling, physically, maybe reflect on the food choices that you had made the day before, Maybe set some, you said you like setting little objectives, maybe little mini goals for yourself for the day, things like that. Okay, so in regards to restaurants, would you be willing to choose a grilled, baked, or broiled option?
That is easy for me to choose, actually.
Okay, that's great. So why don't we just make sure we're doing that? Let's say 75% of the time you're eating out.
Okay. That is really very doable for me.
Okay.
Because I do it every lunchtime when I go. That's exactly what I do.
Okay. We try and a good idea is living by kind of like an 80-20% rule. So 80% of the time you're making healthy choices, 20% of the time you can kind of, feel like you're not as restricted. Because it seemed like in the past, being on a very strict diet doesn't work in the long run. Because that's not how life works.
Yeah.
And things are thrown at you, and you have to be a little bit malleable to your different situations.
Yes.
So those are some good goals. Now I would like to talk a little bit maybe about some physical activity.
Yes.
So
I would love to begin to use my gym. It costs me too much money.
Yes. So I'm understanding that you do want to become more physically active, and you've had experience in the past being physically active. What do you feel has prevented you from being physically active? Is it time? Is it being tired?
It's actually both.
Time and being tired. Okay. What kinds of physical activity do you enjoy doing? If you were to do physical activity, what do you like? Do you like walking? You like biking? Swimming? Recreational activities?
I love swimming.
Okay.
I don't mind actually going on a treadmill or on a bicycle. Okay. I do enjoy those things because they do revive me.
Okay.
When I do it. It's when I don't do it that I'm tired.
The start that's difficult.
It is very difficult to start.
Getting there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So so starting is difficult, but just remember that any little changes you're making are good. Even if it's going to the gym for just a little bit, like 15, 20 minutes, or just walking outside of your house, after work or in the morning or on a lunch break, just going outside, getting some fresh air. How do you feel about maybe parking further?
I do that.
Okay.
It's interesting, but I don't do it all the time.
So maybe we'd like to set a goal for that. So what about what seems good for you? How often do you want to do it every time?
What?
Would you like to park far?
I should be doing it all the time. Okay. For a while I did, and then I stopped. And then I parked the closest I can.
Okay.
It's true.
So even that alone will give you a little bit more.
That's physical activity.
Exercise. So maybe parking. I don't know an exact distance, but parking further away if you're going to the grocery store, if you're going in and out of places, just walking more in general.
Yes.
Can help.
But I get the idea, though. I get the idea.
Typically, once you start something, you kind of and start seeing results.
Yes.
That's
what I get encouraged.
So that's where your motivation is.
Yes.
So your motivation lies in seeing results.
Yes.
Okay. So then something to remember is that results don't come overnight, and that's hard.
Yes.
To have to stick to something and constantly remembering that. And maybe that's something you could write about in your journaling too. Saying that results, literally writing, results don't happen overnight. Because if you do stick to a plan over time, you will see results. And it will be exciting for you.
Yes, I'm going to write this.
So maybe getting up in the morning and going on the treadmill. How often would you be willing to do that per week?
If
realistically.
Per week?
Realistically.
I mean, I'd love to do it 4 times a week.
4 times a week. Okay. Yeah. So for how long do you think you can go on that?
I always wanted to be on the treadmill for about 60 minutes.
60?
Yeah, it feels good when I'm on the treadmill for 60 minutes.
Do you think that would be realistic for your schedule now that we're saying that we're going to be journaling?
To start out, you mean?
Mm-hmm, to start out.
Probably not.
Okay, so why don't we start trying with 20 minutes?
Okay. So...
Or 15, or 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. What works best for your schedule?
Well,
what is realistic?
I have to tell you that I have tried the 10 and 15 minute, and it doesn't do much at all. It doesn't feel like I've done much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But over time,
I guess it depends also on how fast I'm using the treadmill.
Mm-hmm. And over time, it will help, but you also have to couple it with your
I put down 20
changes.
minutes. I put down 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Start for 20 minutes a day for 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, on the treadmill, and I can start without doing the incline or anything, just to get myself back into doing it.
Okay.
Getting used to it.
Yeah, just going through the motions until it becomes kind of second nature.
Right.
They say it takes about like 27 or 30, somewhere around there, days to develop a habit.
Oh, really? Okay, that's an interesting point.
I'll have to get you the exact number later. But yeah, so for it to start feeling second nature. So it seems like you want to make, you're preparing to make the changes, right? So
yes.
you know that you want to make the changes, and you feel ready to make. Do you feel ready to make these changes?
I actually do. Yes. I mean, was really, really happy when you approached me to have this meeting. I really was, and that's why I was sharing with you the details.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like going to confession, you know. And because I don't feel good about where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Yeah. Maybe one last thing I can mention for right now is water.
The reason why I like water and it's easy for me to drink water is because my throat got used to actually taking in that much water. Mm-hmm. It's not a fight. It used to be a fight at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know.
That's like me too. Drinking water for me is a struggle, and I have to make myself do it, but I know that I'll feel rejuvenated, and my body will function better, and it'll let my metabolic processes happen like they should, and get my food and digestive system going. So we're made up of mostly water. So your body needs that.
Yes. And
just keeps you more alert. When you're dehydrated, you're typically more sluggish, and you're more likely to make poor nutrition decisions.
Yes.
So just drinking water. So why don't we, you said you've done it in the past, right? How do you feel about drinking 5 bottles of water a day?
I honestly would not mind at all. Especially if I start exercising, I think.
So you know what's really cool is they have apps now.
Oh.
That you can track how much water you're drinking.
Oh.
On, I'll have to grab the name of the app.
Tell me what app
for
it is?
You. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can track how much water you're drinking on
there.
And there's other web sites or apps like MyFitnessPal that you can track what you're eating, and it will track all the calories and things like that for your day. So why don't we go over, why don't we recap some of the goals? So I just want to make sure that you're understanding, you know, what we went through and some things that we talked about.
Okay, you want me to tell you what they are?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first thing you said is, how about if I did some journaling? And you said to do it between 4 and 7 times per week in the morning. And then I should actually indicate also in my journaling how I feel. Also, you said to reflect on the food choices that I made for the day before, and that should be part of my journaling. You said, yes. You said
maybe noting some goals for the rest of the day. So I want to drink 5. Remember to drink 5 bottles of water a day.
As part of my journaling.
Things like that. Just kind of like reminders for yourself.
Okay. The second thing, there were 5 things altogether. The second thing was we talked about restaurants because I eat out a lot. And he said that I really should always put in my mind that I should be choosing Royal Baker's Theme 70% of the time. But if I go with the 80-20 rule, it will be good. I can do 80% of the time I should be doing good choices, 20% of the time it can be bad choices. That's okay because we're humans. So that's basically what I remember you saying.
Well, I also want to reiterate that it's, there's no good food and bad food, right? So
Okay.
there's no such thing as good food or bad food. That's when we come to like portion sizes, right?
Uh-huh.
So food is food.
Yes.
But we want to have more, plant-based foods and lean meats and low-fat dairy and whole grains and things like that.
Yeah.
And fruits and things. Because of all the health benefits that they have.
Yeah.
And then we want to, for sweets and other treats and desserts, we want to keep them as treats and desserts. And by keeping a portion size small, we can also, continue our goal of weight loss.
Okay.
Because we don't want to, deprive you and then all of a sudden, I want to binge eat all this food.
Right.
So, and, there's, events and parties and things like that you kind of need to be, okay with, living a little bit.
Yes.
So.
That's very good points, and I noted those things. The third thing is the physical activity. He said that I should really begin, if I do like and enjoy using the treadmill, for example, I ought to consider maybe 20 minutes to start. Every 29 to 30 days, chances are you will develop a habit.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact time frame, but it's somewhere around there.
Okay.
It helps you
fine.
Develop a habit.
That's fair enough.
So maybe keep it as a goal just to get there, just to get to that point.
Yes.
As a motivator.
Yes. And number 4 was park far away. Give yourself as much time to, put in some physical activity, even if you go into the office.
Yeah.
All right. So that's very logical. Number 5, the 5th thing you talked about is, which was more of an educational piece, and you said
water.
It was all about calories, and you said that what I should be considering is taking in about what would be 500 less calories per day, and if I did that, it would equate a loss of 1 pound per week.
Yes.
And don't forget to increase your water intake by basically take the 5 bottles that I was saying that I used to do. So start drinking more water, and
maybe get
the reason why we drink water is because carbohydrates attach themselves to water, and that it is a good idea to reduce. Carbohydrates are important for the body, but at the same time, a lower intake of the carbohydrates would probably be helpful in weight loss.
Well, it will be helpful with water. I mean, it will result in water weight loss, but that's not really fat loss. So water weight will come back when you drink a bunch of water again. So that's not really the weight loss we're looking for. We want fat loss. Okay. We want decrease in fat and increase in lean mass. So
how are you going to lose the fat? The fat loss
through your diet and just exercising will result in fat loss.
The better choices
that will result in fat loss.
You're right, which is basically
because
broiled baked steam, right? That's
because 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. So
3,500 calories is 1 pound. Oh my God! Yeah. You're
reducing your
1 pound of fat
is 3,500 calories, which is why if you decrease by 500 times 7 is 3,500 calories a week.
Oh.
So. Do these all seem like changes that are doable and they're excited about?
They're doable for a start. Yeah.
Okay. So that's great. So. I'm glad that you are feeling confident in some of the things that we've talked about. And just remember that, every day is a fresh start. So even if you didn't do as well as you wanted to the day before, it's not the end of the world. Life continues, and you kind of just have to tackle it a day at a time.
Yes.
And that journaling will help for you to reflect on, maybe why if you wake up upset for some reason about something that happened.
Yes.
Journal about it, and then move on.
Right.
And kind of let that go.
Yes.
And don't think, oh, I had one cookie, I'm just gonna eat the whole box because I messed up or something like that. Because that's not really how it is. You're in control. You need to just remember that you're in control, and you are in charge of what you put in your body, and you have this overarching goal of weight loss, and getting healthier, and being here for the long haul.
Yes.
So
okay.
I would like to schedule another follow-up session with you.
Okay.
In about 2 weeks, if that works for you.
2 weeks is fine.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Perfect.
Then we can check back in and see how we do it, right?
Yes, and then we can see some other goals, or maybe increase exercise if you want to, and things like that. So, yeah.
Very good.
Well,
thank you very much. It was
coming.
really wonderful. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Right.
Oh, and I have this handout for you to take with you.
Oh, good. Thank you.
And this is just the choose my plate recommendations of how many, what your plate should look like. So take a read on these, and then we can discuss them next week, or in 2 weeks, excuse me.
In 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay.
You got it. Thank you very much.